Right now at noon, an attorney for the man accused of killing a Lake Mills firefighter says his client was under the legal limit. Plus, a manhunt is underway in Texas after a 7-year-old girl was shot and killed in Houston. And it's day 14 of the partial government shutdown, why there doesn't appear to be an end in sight.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 on this Friday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in a bit. But first, meteorologist Dave Caulfield is here with our first alert forecast. An awfully nice Friday.
Oh, yeah, with temperatures in the mid-40s already for some of us. Plenty of sunshine. I don't think that snow has much time left if we keep getting weather like this in Madison. On the WISC-TV Skycam, looking at wall-to-wall sunshine right now at 41 degrees, calm winds, and that means the wind chill is pretty much what the thermometer is suggesting. 40 in Lone Rock, up to 42 already in Boscobel. And the warm spot right now is Janesville at 43 degrees. That's 10 degrees warmer than yesterday, and yesterday was warmer than the day before that, so these mild temperatures just keep on tumbling into southern Wisconsin. Your forecast first, temperatures will fall into the 30s this evening. Still looking at clear skies, but there is the chance that we do see a little bit of fog forming overnight into early on Saturday. I'll let you know how long that fog holds on. And temperatures as we head into this weekend, your first alert forecast.
40 degrees on January 4th.
Not too bad, not too shabby.
Unless you like the snow.
Yes, exactly.
Get out quickly and enjoy.
Oh, yes.
All right, Dave, we'll check back in a few minutes. But first, we have new information as an attorney for the man accused of killing Captain Christopher Truman tells News 3 that his client was under the legal limit. 28-year-old Samuel Kramers is facing tentative charges of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. However, Kramers' lawyer, Sean O'Connell, said Kramers blew a 0.79 during a breathalyzer test just below the .08 Wisconsin's legal limit to drive. Police say Truman had stopped on the side of the Beltline Monday to help another driver, and that's when Kramers hit Truman after Truman exited his vehicle. No formal charges have been filed against Kramers. Meanwhile, two businesses in Lake Mills will be holding fundraising events in honor of Captain Truman. The Lake Mills Market grocery store has started a donation drive in honor of Truman. The store started the fund with an initial donation of $500. And the Lake Mills Culvers will be holding a fundraiser Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. in Truman's honor. The restaurant said it'll donate 10% of sales to the Lake Mills Fire Department. A 78-year-old woman has life-threatening injuries after getting hit by a vehicle while walking in a crosswalk. Police say the driver, a 53-year-old Madison man, said he did not see the woman in the crosswalk around 6:15 last night on East Washington Avenue and Pauline Street. The driver slammed on his brakes but was unable to avoid striking the woman. She was taken to the hospital with head and other injuries. Officers say the driver showed no signs of impairment and was very cooperative with police. A prosecutor in central Wisconsin says a Wausau babysitter will be charged with killing a 2-month-old boy in her care. 28-year-old Marissa Tietsorts, who is pregnant with her 6th child, is already facing child abuse charges involving another baby from whom she was caring. The assistant district attorney says Tietsort will be charged today with first-degree intentional homicide. She's been in jail on a $250,000 cash bond since she was charged in October with child abuse for injuring an 11-month-old girl. A manhunt is underway in Texas for a gunman who killed a 7-year-old girl in Houston. Texas authorities have released a composite sketch of the gunman and a video of the gunman's red pickup truck just before they say he shot and killed second-grader Jasmine Barnes. Barnes was riding in her mother's car when she was struck in the head with a bullet. The family says nothing can replace Jasmine.
I thank God that he did leave me 3, that I do have 3 to look forward to, but at the end of the day, they can't replace their sister.
On Twitter, hometown NFL wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins pledged to help pay for Barnes' funeral and said he'll dedicate Saturday's playoff game in her honor. The reward for the suspect's arrest now tops $100,000. Governor Scott Walker says he'd be interested in running for office again, maybe even for governor in 4 years. Walker spoke to the Associated Press, saying his immediate plans are to hit the speaking circuit. He says he'll also be President Donald Trump's chief advocate in Wisconsin. Walker says it's likely that Republicans will want a new face for the governor's race in 2022, but he says, quote, who knows? Walker says he's not ruling anything out, including a run for U.S. Senate in 2022. It is day 14 of the partial government shutdown, and there does not appear to be an end in sight. President Trump is hosting congressional leaders at the White House today, but both sides are digging in. Mola Lenghi has more details from the White House.
President Trump meets with congressional leaders again today for negotiations about the government shutdown and border security. But neither side appears to be willing to budge.
The president has the support of the American people because they want to feel safe.
A wall is an immorality. It's not who we are as a nation.
The House passed 2 bills last night.
The joint resolution is passed.
That would reopen the government and provide money for border security, but not for the wall.
The 6 appropriations bills passed by the House last night are the same bills, this very same bills, they have not changed a bit, that Republicans here in the Senate drafted, they were in charge, and approved.
President Trump has promised to veto those bills, but he won't have to. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he will not allow any vote in the Senate unless it's a bill the president supports.
The package presented by the House's new Democratic leaders yesterday can only be seen as a time-wasting act of political posturing.
But pressure for compromise is growing, with Republican Senators Susan Collins and Cory Gardner calling for the president to end the government shutdown. In the meantime, the Trump administration is asking the Pentagon to send more troops to the border to erect 160 more miles of concertina wire and barriers along the border. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, the White House.
So far, the military has erected 70 miles of fencing, not a wall, along the border. Well, there's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Today, we're cozying up with a piping hot dessert that's tasty and diabetic friendly. It's not what you expect, but it's very welcoming. This week, we're looking at ways to either eat better or trim a few pounds. And as we all know, that's no easy task. That's why I want to share a warm-you-up cozy dessert from our latest diabetic-friendly cookbook. It's a bubbling strawberry rhubarb cobbler that comes together in no time and is ADA approved. We start with some strawberries, and right now they're coming from Florida at prices that you might expect to find in the summer. And we mix them with a good amount of fresh or frozen rhubarb and some honey. We give it a good mix, then spoon it into ramekins or a small baking dish. For the best part, we finish these with a crumbly butter tasting topping, which is simply some oatmeal mixed with a little brown sugar or brown sugar substitute, a bit of cinnamon, and some margarine. Pop these in the oven, and when the whole house smells amazing, you'll know they're done. These are a tasty way to warm everyone up on a cold winter night. Between the piping hot combo of the berries and rhubarb and the crumbly oatmeal topping, you'll want to cozy up with this all month long. To get the recipe for our bubbling strawberry rhubarb cobbler, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a guilt-free, comforting way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, a sunny and mild January day. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has your weekend forecast when we come back. Well, a holiday push for jobs and a payday for former Toys R Us employees. Diane King Hall has more in today's Money Watch report.
Hiring revved up in December. The Labor Department says the economy added 312,000 jobs last month. Gains were spread across a variety of industries ranging from healthcare to food services and manufacturing. The nation's unemployment rate did rise to 3.9%, but that's because more people started to look for work. Stocks started the session higher as investors processed the latest jobs numbers. Also helping lift sentiment is news that China and the U.S. are back at the trade bargaining table. The two countries are expected to hold high-level talks next week. Tesla says it will start delivering Model 3 vehicles to China in March. The price for a Model 3 in China would convert to about $72,000. Now, yesterday, the company said it's lowering the price here in the U.S. by $2,000. The electric car maker is trying to accelerate sales dented by trade tensions. And struggling former Toys R Us employees are getting a paycheck. Former staffers have started receiving payments from a $20 million financial assistance fund created by private equity firms Bain Capital and KKR. Checks between $200,000 and more than $12,000 were cut this week following pressure from employee advocacy groups and former workers. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Diane, thank you. The Dow Industrials up 721 points at the noon hour. The NASDAQ up 260. Let's check in with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee. I tell you, you don't need a roller coaster ride. Just follow the markets.
Honestly, and at least it's going in the right direction today. I was kind of curious overnight what was happening with that. So it's nice that they rebounded on momentum there. And I think some of that is carrying over to our commodities too, Mark. That story that she mentioned about how the United States is headed to China for high-level discussions has got agriculture at least feeling the momentum a little bit more positive on the midday. The other thing we're waiting on, this government shutdown is continuing to really impact a lot of farm programs and farmers in turn. Today, Robert Johansson, our U.S. chief economist out at USDA, he's got to decide whether or not they're going to stick with the January 11th World Ag Supply Demand Report or if it's going to have to be delayed. He said it's ultimately going to be delivered sometime, but it all depends on the government coming back online to get his other economists around so they can pull that report together. And as you can imagine, the market, without something official from the government, starts going to private analysts and the rumor mill starts to churn. Today, that's not a bad thing as far as our corn, our beans, our wheat are concerned. Everything is trending higher. In fact, now soybeans are almost 9 cents higher. The corn is up about 4 cents, and the wheat market is good, strong, and active as well. The other conversation pieces that we've got going on out there are what's going to happen in Brazil. I just got an update that said it looks like there's a lot of speculation. Brazil's going to be suffering through a drought and may not see the production on soybeans that we had expected. So that's something we got to keep an eye on, too. Not much to watch. It's like paint in the dairy department. No change on barrel, block, or AA butter prices for today going into the weekend. Fluid milk contracts are also trending lower on the midday. But I'll tell you what, despite the downturn on those last few numbers, I got to give it to the big guy, and I'm assuming he's in the backyard, and the necessary equipment for today, thank goodness, is a beautiful way to spend a Friday afternoon. I'll tell you, this is wonderful for this early in January. Now, we know we're going to pay for it. I don't know if those guys from New York City recognize in Wisconsin we'll sooner or later pay for this, but I'll take it today.
Well, the big man's inside today, so.
Oh, what a baby. Come on, man. Get out there. You could be in short sleeves.
All right, get the grill out this weekend.
That's right,
All
for
right,
sure.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
And here is Dave inside.
Wah, don't call me a baby, Pam. I am one. You can definitely call me that. No, I probably should be outside today, especially if I want to see a little bit of snow on the ground, because it's not going to be around for very long if we keep getting temperatures like this. Already we're seeing some reduction in that snow depth across Wisconsin. We kind of have a donut hole in between Eau Claire and Marshfield, and that snow going to continue to leave us over the next couple of days with temperatures in the 40s, and our monthly departure so far for this January, 6.5 degrees above where we should be. And I think that trend continues at least into Saturday and possibly into much of next week. So this January thaw is for real. We're actually going to be not too far away from record high temperatures tomorrow. Forecast high of 46. The record is 51. It depends on how quickly some fog gets out of here tomorrow morning. But if that fog gets out of here quickly, I think these temperatures are possible in the mid to upper 40s, and some of us theoretically could be close to 50 degrees for tomorrow. Today, I think we'll be a little bit closer to the mid 40s, but still, that's about 15 to 20 degrees above normal for this time of year. Plenty of sunshine in downtown Madison. Hopefully you have the shades like Pam did on this Friday. 43, the forecast high today. As I mentioned, about 15 to 20 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. We should be in the mid-20s, try mid-40s, Mother Nature. I like this start a lot better than the start of last year. Remember, it was so cold to start January. We were in the teens for highs, and at night, we were well below zero in the -10 to -15 degree range. Not this year. And we are looking at quiet conditions across much of the Midwest. Everything is to our south. That low pressure system going to move well to the east of us and not impact us. High pressure is keeping us quiet across southern Wisconsin. Already at 41 in Madison, 38 in Watertown, and 43 in Janesville. That's about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. And remember, yesterday was about 10 degrees warmer than the day before that. So we just keep getting these mild temperatures. Wind, not a major factor in this forecast, but fog might be tonight. You can see it forming on Future Track, and right now Future Track is signaling that this fog gets out of here by the time we get to about 7 or 7:30 tomorrow morning. It will be patchy, but it will be dense in some spots, so just keep that in mind tonight into tomorrow. Then on Sunday, after we get some presumably nice weather for tomorrow with highs in the mid to upper 40s, our next system arrives, could bring us some rain and some snow mixing in at times. But really, the latest projections for that system don't cause me many concerns, but we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Your 7 to 10-day forecast showing those temperatures staying in the upper 30s and low 40s. Again, we do have the chance of some rain and snow showers Sunday night, mainly rain on Monday. Then we're quieter and colder for Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, Dave, sounds good. Thank you. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, Angie Edge from the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin is here with a cheese recipe perfect for winter if it ever comes back. We'll have more when we come back. Welcome back. Angie Edge from the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin is joining us today because usually come on Tuesday, but that was New Year's Day.
Yeah.
But great to see you today.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Where's the time go?
Right.
So start out 2019 on a hearty note.
Yeah, we have some delicious homemade soups, and they're all part of our new catalog that's called Great Pear Share. There's some delicious recipes. And this is a slow cooker potato chowder that has some delicious pepper jack Wisconsin cheese in it. So it's very simple to make, basically putting everything in the crock pot, letting it simmer for about 6 hours. So you have some red potatoes, some onions.
You cook them first?
You cook them first.
Okay.
You're going to dice them up nice and small. You're going to put a little broth in there as well. And then to thicken it up after 6 hours, a little heavy cream and flour. Lastly, you're going to add that delicious Wisconsin cheese. So we have some Henning's pepper jack that we're featuring in this recipe today. 2 cups of shredded is what gives it that buttery flavor, but those peppers just bump it up just a notch. So Henning's is a company that's actually in Kiel, Wisconsin, a 4th-generation family-owned factory.
They've been winning a lot of awards
They've been winning
lately.
lots of awards, and we're very proud that they have one of our master cheesemakers there. So you can serve it up to your guests, and it's also fun to maybe serve some accompaniments with it as well. You can put some sour cream on top, just like you're making a baked potato bar. There's also some bacon in it. Everybody loves a little bacon.
Extra bacon doesn't hurt anybody.
Some chives to add a little color as well. And then, of course, Mark, you got to add more Wisconsin cheese. So you have some more pepper jack that you can just drizzle on top. So very easy to make and very fun to entertain with and warm up this winter.
But need the crock pot?
The crock pot, you can cook
day?
it for about 6 hours until the potatoes become nice and tender. Then you're going to add in cheese at the end.
And a bunch of different recipes
Yes.
online.
A lot of recipes, a lot of soup recipes, and you can find them all at wisconsincheese.com.
WisconsinCheese.com is the place to go. Get a hearty cheese, and you get a food like this in the studio, and people just sort of flock back because they hear it. Here's Dave. Would you like some soup, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, hang on. All right, Angie, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
See you next time.
Yeah.
WisconsinCheese.com.
Yep.
Weather.com.
Yeah. Well, that's something else, but yeah, so we got to
That's somebody else.
Yeah, we got to talk about the weather before I can eat this awesome soup. So Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam showing that snow continuing to disappear because temperatures are already close to 40 degrees. Highs this afternoon will be in the mid-40s, not as cold. Under mostly sunny skies, some fog does come in overnight into early tomorrow morning, but once that gets out of here, more nice weather on the way for this weekend.
Well, I tell you, break out the grill.
Yes.
That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.